Howdy, folks. Welcome to part 4 of the George Jones documentary, courtesy of George Jones's worldwide #1 fan, GW, George Woodruff. GW, thank you for this gift in this series and this exposure to more of the possum's life, his career, his personal life, the band's reflections of him, producers' reflections of him, and his own reflections. We're going to do part 4 right now. This goes into the documentary series playlist. And that is well populated with phenomenal documentaries and biographies and just, vignettes about the artists themselves. So thank you for this, GW.
Her today.
The last words Jones said about He Stopped Loving Her Today was, "Nobody will buy that morbid son of a bitch."
Winner for the 1981 Male Vocalist of the Year is George Jones.
Nobody will buy that morbid son of a bitch. That is funny. Look at that stage.
Well, I'm one of the Jones boys, and I just want to say one thing. I'm very proud, and I still love Johnny Wright and Kenny Wills. Thank you very much. We love country music. It's about time we got back tonight.
He Stopped Loving Her Today was George's biggest hit, and it came as his life had finally reached a crisis point. His irrational behavior worsened with his increased dependency on drugs and booze. Emulating his idol Hank Williams in his last days, he begins living in the backseat of his car with a bottle of whiskey and a cutout of Hank as his constant companions.
Wow.
He started having delusions, and soon an alter ego appeared as George frequently spoke using the voice of Donald Duck. He was a man truly out of control.
I didn't know this.
Each step I take, Lord, I'm sitting back too. We all have roles in life to play, and I'll play a good one someday.
And I went to about the lowest that you could go on the booze. And then when I was at that point, I knew there was no out. There was no good thinking at all. There was no way out of it, so I just didn't care no more, so I went to the other stuff. I went to the drugs, and then I really got in bad shape. I got down to about 105 pounds, they said, and I looked terrible, I looked awful, I sung terrible, and I was terrible.
George, hey, come on then, George.
More than being concerned, I felt sorry for him because I saw a man that was destroying himself, and I was helpless. What could I do? There have been a lot of people that had tried and failed, but I felt like that somebody needed to do something.
What have I done? You are drunk. I am not. Yes, you are. No, sir.
I was afraid he was going to die. I thought I was going to live forever. We both had problems with drugs.
Joe, let him take me to jail. But you're not going to do that.
Oh, I don't think I really was beginning to see it was out of control, because I was so out of control I couldn't see anything.
Yeah.
And so I called him to come out to the house. He came out there, and I said, "George, this is going to sound awful funny coming from me, but you got to do something. You got to straighten up."
Best thing ever happened to me is when some friends got with me and talked me into going to the hospital in Birmingham. And first couple of weeks was the roughest. I hated everybody. I still didn't see no way back.
Yeah.
And I said, "You just wait till I get out of here or something." And in the last couple of weeks, you're in there, you got time to think, you're getting your body back in shape, your mind back to where you can think. I think I had an IQ of 72 when I went in there. And then, thinking and talking to the doctor and being alone where you can think and seeing, and then having some fine cards and letters coming in from so many fans.
Wow.
That really gave you that big lift that you needed, to get you back on the right track. And
that's awesome.
I met Nancy right after I got out of the hospital.
I think he was needing someone that he could trust and someone that he felt close to, and it took a while to get him to that
She's
route,
pretty.
because of being all through, which is no secret to anyone, all through the bad times that George has had.
I think if George Jones hadn't ever moved back to Texas, I don't think he'd live this far.
Back to the piney woods of East Texas. Back to the big thicket where George and Nancy married. And Possum takes his first steps down that long road to recovery.
We got him interested in a piece of land out here.
You might have, in the very first part of the first episode of this that I did, I remember after a couple of minutes, they kept showing, these green trees and stuff. A lot. They kept showing it in the beginning. And I was like, why are they showing that? Like, there's got to be a point to it. It can't just be like random. Let's just shoot some like meaningless trees and hills. Now we got it. They brought a full circle back to, he went back home because it was the spotlight that was eating him up. He wanted just to be a simple performer.
My husband went out there and found it for him. And so we got his mind on something else instead of on his problem.
I always figured someday we'd have him. And I guess it just took a long time to do it.
It took a lot of years to get him to understand that you can cope with life without picking up a drink and trying to settle it with that. So I think he's come to the conclusion that you're not getting any younger and you're not going to get anywhere by drinking.
If it hadn't been for Nancy and the prayers and the cards and letters and the fans that really care, I think that's really what made me think and get to thinking and make my mind up. I said, well, there's somebody still cares, and I believe I can do it again. I've had good luck and bad luck, and no luck, it's true.
His voice is so much stronger.
Been lucky with you. I've been turned on and turned down when the bars close at 2, but I've always got lucky with you. I keep 2 strikes against me most all the time. When it's down to just a phone call, I'm minus a dime. I've had good days, bad days, but when my day is through, and I've always been lucky with you.
He's a fighter. He comes back and he just continues to be great always. And I just can't imagine what country music would have been like without George Jones.
He's one of them that's still there when some of them still lying dead along the way.
That's what's so funny. They counted him down and out 9,000 times, and he just keeps coming back, but he always will be here, He'll always be a part of country music.
That's
Some of us will last for a while, but as long as there is a country music, you'll know who George Jones was.
Yeah.
Yes, I've always been lucky with
It's a nice sappy song.
To be happy, if you ever lucky to live long enough to finally be happy, it was worth it all.
If you live long enough to be happy. It's a fact. That is a fact. George Woodruff will attest to this. Okay. I'm so glad that he did come back, as you know. I mean, you want that Hollywood ending. I didn't know. I mean, just some of the little things in there. And that's I love doing these documentaries too. I mean, it does take a lot longer, but you learn a lot more along the way. It gives more oomph, gives more background, gives more texture to the songs that you actually do hear. And I didn't, they said he dropped to 105 pounds. He was talking in a Donald Duck voice sometimes, sleeping in the backseat of his car with a cutout of Hank Williams. I don't even want to believe that, I don't. But he was taking a lot of stuff, I guess. But really, like in the middle, I think it was episode 2, maybe beginning of 3, where they were talking about, maybe it was episode 3, where they were talking about he really just wanted to sing to small crowds. Like he would disappear. They started naming him No Show Jones in these big venues and arenas and things. And then 3 weeks later, he'd show up in some small place out of the way. But that's who we wanted to connect with. Our psyches aren't necessarily meant to handle all these other pressures, all these other expectations to put them in their place. It's a very challenging thing. But nonetheless, he came back and got his voice back and got to do more with people. And I love what he said about, the fan letters while he was in the clinic, the rehab center getting better. They pulled him back to life in ways. When you really people do want to be approved of. Not everybody seeks approval, not everybody cares about it, but we generally like it when it comes our way, whether we've sought it or not. When you're a performer out there on that stage and you've got 1,000 or 20,000 people cheering for you, that is a form of approval. That's big approval. It's a place to be where, wow, I'm accepted, I'm embraced, they like what I do, they like who I am. And if you can accept that and receive that, you're a much happier person. And he said that in the end there, that, if you live long enough, you can to find happiness. It makes it worth it. I don't agree with that. I think, yes, the happiness is worth being happy, but going through all that he went through, including the divorces and the scary moments and the depression and all that stuff that you go through, that I don't know. I don't want to go too philosophical on this, but that's not worth it. Being happy is, but yeah. Well, in any case, that was George's journey, and all through it, I mean, his music drove him, it drove the fans and their care for him, and he was a straight shooter. Thank God he had Waylon. I didn't know he had Waylon like that. So, all right, guys. Well, that's part 4 of 4, courtesy of George Jones's worldwide #1 fan, George Woodruff. So, George, thank you, my friend, for this. And I just love knowing it. So, all right, guys, have a great day. I'll see you on another video and keep rocking the country.
As the decade drew to a close, there was a change in George. His voice had grown deeper, and his vocal style had matured and become distinctly his own.
The music from the honky tonk, the longest songs they play.